Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. A battle that you win cancels any other bad action of yours. In the same way, by losing one, all the good things worked by you before become vain. A return to first principles in a republic is sometimes caused by the simple virtues of one man. A sign of intelligence is an awareness of one's own ignorance. A wise ruler ought never to keep faith when by doing so it would be against his interests. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. All warfare is based on deception. As the saying goes, there's no honey without bees. Beware of a man who interrupts you because he is trying to show you strength. Develop the strength to do bold things, not the strength to suffer. Entrepreneurs are simply those who understand that there is little difference between obstacle and opportunity and are able to turn both to their advantage. Everyone around will envy you if you tell the truth which is profitable. Everyone who wants to know what will happen ought to examine what has happened. Everything in this world, in any epoch, has its replicas in antiquity. He who builds on the people builds on the mud. He who is fixed to a star does not change his mind. He who is highly esteemed is not easily conspired against. He who shuns women passes up the trouble, but also the benefits. He who puts up with them gains the benefits, but also the trouble. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. His good example has such an influence that the good men strive to imitate him, and the wicked are ashamed to lead a life so contrary to his example. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. I'm not interested in preserving the status quo. I want to overthrow it. In conclusion, the arms of others either fall from your back, weigh you down, or bind you fast. It is a common fault of men not to reckon on storms and fair weather. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. It is better to be impetuous than cautious, because fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under, it is necessary to beat and elude her. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. It is far better to earn the confidence of the people than to rely on fortresses. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Make mistakes of ambition and not mistakes of sloth. Make no small plans, for they have no power to stir the soul. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. Men are so simple of mind and so much dominated by their immediate needs that a deceitful man will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. Men intrinsically do not trust new things that they have not experienced themselves. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, and few can feel. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries. For heavy ones, they cannot. Men shrink less from offending one who inspires love than one who inspires fear. Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. Men will always deceive you unless they are kept honest by constraint. Men will not look at things as they really are, but as they wish them to be, and are ruined. Nature creates few men brave. Industry and training make many. Nature, that framed us of 4 elements, warring within our breasts for regiment, doth teach us all to have aspiring minds. Necessity is what impels men to take action. And once necessity is gone, only rot and decay are left. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. Never let others interrupt you, because you will lose respect. Never was anything great achieved without danger. Of mankind, we may say in general, they are fickle, hypocritical, and greedy for gain. One change always leaves the way open for the establishment of others. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. One should never fall into the belief that you can find someone to pick you up. Politics have no relation to morals. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved. The best fortress which a prince can possess is the affection of his people. The ends justify the means. The fact is that a man who wants to act virtuously in every way necessarily comes to grief among so many who are not virtuous. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The injury that is to be done to a man ought to be of such a kind that one does not stand in fear of revenge. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and a fox cannot defend himself from wolves. The more sand has escaped from the hourglass of our life, the clearer we should see through it. The more sinners a church can count among its members, the greater the gains to its coffers. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise, the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. The prince must be a lion, but he must also know how to play the fox. The vulgar crowd is always taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. There is no other way to guard yourself against flattery than by making men understand that telling you the truth will not offend you. There is nothing as likely to succeed as what the enemy believes you cannot attempt. Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times. Wisdom consists of knowing how to distinguish the nature of trouble and in choosing the lesser evil. Which quote did you like the most? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on the next video.